Hello, welcome back to Gianpaolo Cherubin Selections channel. I am Gianpaolo Cherubin.
And I am Anitra Srisuk.
And today we are happy to have a very special guest, Mr. Brian Duncan, who is a true legend in the wine world in Chicago. Not just the wine world, in the hospitality business entirely, as he has covered every single position you can think of. From making wine, to selling wine, to selecting wine for prime restaurants, to opening incredible places. This man is just being all over the place and traveling the world as well. So it's with my pleasure that I introduce you, and I'm just gonna let him say something about himself.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Brian.
I feel really honored to be here and humbled because you create such a wonderful food and you present it in such a warm and hospitable way. I feel at home.
Well, thank you.
So this is my experience and my journey in the food, wine, and hospitality industry happened very organically. I came from a home that we entertained a lot, and my parents were very into detail. But everything had to be done in unbridled abundance, and certainly everything had to taste good. So I had that gene in me at a very young age where it's a wonderful thing to put great food on the table, put great wine on the table. But if you pay attention to the details and you look and anticipate people's needs and desires, you can create an experience that people will never forget. And so I'm excited tonight because this was not so much a challenge as an opportunity to do some things that were outside of maybe some traditional ways you look at food and wine pairing, and to work with some wild things and really push the boundaries to see what kind of interaction we can get and harmony we can create on the table. So.
Wonderful. Well, our first dish is a sort of a vegetarian dish, and I guess it was a bit of a challenge for Brian because, as he was saying, he didn't decide to go the traditional route for it. They are stuffed zucchini in the style of Genova, so in the Ligurian style. So they're basically stuffed with the insides of the zucchini itself. Two different kinds of cheeses. There's egg, there's breadcrumbs, there are pine nuts, there are several herbs that go into it. There's a little bit of gremolata in there, which I happen to have found these incredible lemons from Sorrento. So I've also made a dessert out of it. And then we have some fresh fava beans and a little bit of tomato sauce. So it's kind of
there's a lot going on.
A lot going on,
yeah.
Yes.
And so I wasn't intimidated. What I was interested in, because I know this is a traditional dish, even though it has so many complex ingredients, there are some things that you might naturally pair, things like Sauvignon Blanc or even Chardonnay. And I had a wonderful Tuscan Chardonnay, I think, that you introduced me to months and months ago. I was very tempted to do that until I thought, we're moving into spring, and what's more expressive about spring than its vibrancy and the newness and the freshness. And so that is what kind of drew me into making my wine choice tonight.
That's great. So you went with this pet net, basically. This is a...
Exactly.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is the winery is called Matic, and the grape that they are using is Ferment, hails from Austria, Hungary. I used to pour 100% Ferment still wine by the glass at Ben 36 in 1999. It was one of my opening wines, and one of the reasons that I use that, most people think of Austria, they think Gruner Veltliner or Riesling. And I liked Ferment because it had a little natural roundness and a minerality that I thought was unique. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like there was pristineness to it that allowed food to really shine in companionship with it. Mm. So as a pet nat, it only undergoes this single fermentation right in the bottle, what you end up with is this incredibly fresh, lively, blast in your mouth that sets you up for anything. I mean, everything from shellfish, I can imagine, to vegetables, fried foods, outdoors. It doesn't have to be something formal and fussy. It's really a user-friendly.
Drink to that.
I want to say cheers to you. Cheers to spring. Cheers to a new year, everything opening up, and even us.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, we are on our second course. So tonight is risotto nero, one of my favorite things in the world. As all the world of fish, I've always been a fish eater more so than a meat eater, you know, in many ways. I find that fish could be like meat, or depending on what fish you eat or what you choose to do, it could be incredible. And squid has such an incredible texture, whether you do octopus, calamari, squid, cuttlefish, each one is very individual and very different. And the squid ink for me is a unique flavor. I remember as a kid, if I would go home and my mom made sepia, we call it, cuttlefish with tomato sauce and polenta, I'll be the happiest kid on the block, you know? So here we go. But Brian has a very interesting pairing with this dish, and kind of unexpected. So I would like you to tell us.
When I was looking at the menu, squid ink risotto, you think of things like gamay, you things like Pinot Noir. There's all kinds of suggestions, different directions you can go. But this wine embodies the two grapes, Pinot Noir and Gamay, and I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but Dille Noir is the third grape, which is indigenous to Switzerland, and it's a hybrid. But what's so incredible about this wine, I'm just tasting this after having it maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I had it without food, and it was much more red fruit driven. This is a little cooler temperature on it, and I'm telling you, it's the best that Pinot Noir could offer, the best that Gamay could offer. The wine is showing off in so many different levels. There's lots of complexity, but texture.
The texture is really formidable in this wine.
It blankets your palate. There's the red fruits there, you know, sort of that black raspberry, but I'm getting a darker, almost, when I say brooding, I don't mean, sometimes people think of that in a kind of an aggressive way. Brooding in that it has some secrets it's not yet ready to reveal.
Yes. Yeah.
So I believe that I look at food and wine pairing as a lock and key conversation, that the wines should unlock some flavors in the risotto that you wouldn't have tasted on your own, and the risotto will help elaborate some nuances and complexity in the wines that we still haven't even yet discovered. So let's dig in.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. We can chin chin.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
So this is our last course, my favorite round, which is a dessert round, and we're pairing it with very delicious Moscato. Paolo, what did you make for dessert?
So it's a bit of a concoction. There is a lemon cake with a lemon curd. I found, as I mentioned earlier, the lemons from Sorrento.
It looks delicious.
I made the curd, and then there is... I actually wet the cake with a special cordial that I brought back a couple of years ago from Sicily, which is made from laurel leaves. So I thought, I don't know, it's going to be kind of interesting. Laurel leaf cordial with lemons and berries. This is a take on a classic strawberry shortcake, a very American summery dessert.
Yeah.
But kind of with a twist. You know,
Incredible timing. Yeah. Incredible timing. I like your thinking and all the components in this. When I saw this earlier, I cheated because that's the way I am. I looked and I saw strawberries and the lemon curd, and I chose a Moscato from the Veneto that is in this the long Charmat method, where they take finished wine that's already been fermented, but they leave it on the leaves for 9 to 15 months. And what I like about this particular wine is a lot of Moscatos are very aggressive. The bubbles are out of control, almost like a soft drink, where this is more champagne-like in the minuscule size of the bubbles. And that's only achieved when you take this time and care in the longer method. So it's a dual method where you get the fermentation done. Then this is the secondary one goes on, where the elegance is produced in a wine like this. So it's very clean. There's a lot of tree fruits and citrus, and I think it's going to knock it out of the park.
I think so too.
At this
Are you
stage.
ready to start over?
Oh, you better believe it.
Get into
I've got a
it.
few tricks.
Second
you
win,
know.
third win.
So excited.
All right.
Well, there you have it. Some good tips and recommendations for our legendary Brian Duncan. Thank you for being on our channel. It is such an honor. Thank you for your time, and I hope you loved everything we kind of put together for this episode.
I'm coming back for every episode. The food was insanely
He said
good.
it. He's coming back for every single
Insanely
episode.
good.
You know you will be back.
Yes, I will. Trust me, I will. Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys for tuning into this episode, and it was such a fun episode, right,
Yes,
Paolo?
it was.
So hopefully Brian can, visit us again in our future episodes. But until then, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share our videos, and don't forget to click on that like and the bell notification, okay? So we'll see you guys.
And remember, life is too short not to drink good wines.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Ciao.